We're doing it. We're doing it. We're ripping the Band-Aid off. Today is my first video. I have been being told to start a YouTube channel by the Lord for over a year now. And I am doing it today because today is the day that I said I was going to do it after a number of other days that I said I was going to do it, but it never quite got done. But today is getting done. And I'm sending a link to my friend so that accountability helps. Hi, I'm Alicia Watson. Alicia L. Watson, because there's other Alicia Watsons, and I don't want to be confused for those. I'm me, Alicia L. Watson. And I'm starting a YouTube channel. Boy, do I feel guilty. I do not want to be in front of the camera. Who wants to be in front of the camera? I'm usually behind the camera. I don't want to be in front of the camera, but I'm in front of the camera. Why? Because God told me to. God told me to do this. And I am just of the mind that it is time to stop questioning why God told me to do it and to actually do it, take the first step and figure it out along the way. So here I am starting a YouTube channel. You don't know me. You might know me. But here I am just here to share. I'm here to share. I'm here to talk about the things of the Lord. I'm going to make faith-based videos, faith-based content on this channel. I am a Christian who follows Jesus Christ. And I am really actually kind of excited to start this because I love connecting with other Christians. I love talking about the things of God, and I'm happy to do it in a small group setting, not on camera, out to a world of random people that I don't know, who could be saying things that I can't control, could be thinking things that I can't help them to understand about me. I just kind of want to hide. But that's not the call. The call is to start a YouTube channel, and so I'm starting it. If you are here, you read this title and you thought, hey, this person's like me. They're starting a YouTube channel, and I need to be starting a YouTube channel. And in fact, a lot of people are starting YouTube channels right now. The reason that I'm starting a YouTube channel is out of obedience, because I've been doing a lot for a very long time. In fact, I am a videographer, photographer. I know all the skills, the tricks, and the tips of the trade, I guess. And I'm starting this YouTube channel with no mic on my cell phone. Because why? Because I will procrastinate and perfectionate. Is that a word? I will be a perfectionist till the end of me if I don't go ahead and start this. So here I am, imperfectly starting my YouTube channel. And so that's my first connection point with you. Just start. Every one of us has a camera in our pocket, and our microphones on these cameras are pretty good as long as you find a space with quiet acoustics. This is not the space. This is the open room of my home, and it's hardwood floor. So you hear a lot of bad noise. But anyways, I'm starting imperfectly. I'm not going to edit this video. This is my first one. My videos down the line will get better. They will. They'll be prettier. They'll be nicer. They'll be more cinematic. They'll be more filmic. They'll be like shorts. They'll tell stories. But today, I'm just here to start. I was in a Bible study last night with my church, and my friend, she shared memes that she came across. And one of the memes that she came across, because I'm not editing, is day one or one day. And so today is my day one. And as I was thinking about that as leading into the start of this video, I think that, should I say this? Should I commit to this? I think that I am going to commit to releasing one YouTube video a day for the next 30 days. Why? Because I need to be consistent in it. And two, because I want to build my confidence back up of me doing things, following through, me keeping my word to myself. Because like I said in the beginning, I've been starting this YouTube channel over and over and over again for over a year. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be starting. What do I want to talk about today? Well, today I want to talk about a story that a lot of us are familiar with and how it helped me to even get to this point. So a little bit of background on me, and if you want more a more in-depth background, you can go and you can go and listen to my podcast. It's called Maybe You're Like Me with Alicia Watson. And season 3, the second half of season 3, details my story in detail. It includes a lot of turmoil that I've been going through for the last 5 or so years. And yesterday I just happened to wake up from a bad dream where my dad was in it giving me a call. And I woke up knowing that I needed to call him because he was going to deliver some bad news. Problem was, my dad's gone. My dad passed away in 2022. My mom passed away in 2021. And waking up with the thought, I need to call my dad, and realizing I can't call my dad kind of can send you into a grief spiral that you didn't really intend on going on that day. And that's usually how the enemy attacks me, through my dreams, bringing back the memories and ideas of my parents and making me think about them and have grief when I wake up, capturing my attention while I'm vulnerable and not able to change my perspective on what I'm grieving, because I believe grief is a normal emotion and it's necessary. And I definitely will cry when I need to cry, and cry in front of people if I need to cry in front of people, because my parents deserved my tears. But at the same time, I don't want to be overcome with the feelings of grief, because my grief is not just a grief of sadness and a grief of missing them. It's a grief that's accompanied with guilt and shame and regret and hopelessness. He likes to attack me in the area of hope. If you have known me or followed me for any period of time, you know that one of my life's missions is hope. Hope in and through media. Hope given to the people. Hope that we have in Christ. And in this season of having lost both of my parents and grieving other parts of my life, a lot of things that are happening or have happened in the last 5 years, I have been dealing with a grief that leads to hopelessness. And so I woke up yesterday morning, again, being attacked in that area of grief and hopelessness. And I wanted to make sure that I washed myself in the Word to get past those feelings. And so I went to the Word and I started to pray. I asked God, okay, I love stories. I tell stories. I love stories. And sometimes I find that knowing the stories of the Bible and who I can relate to in there helps me to get through whatever I'm going through, or overcome something, or achieve something, or just change my perspective, because there's nothing new under the sun. And everything that we've experienced, there's somebody in the Bible. And if not somebody, it's Jesus who has experienced every temptation, every sense of suffering, everything that we have experienced. And so I thought to myself, who do I know of in this Bible that I can relate to this morning? And the person that I came up with was actually Naomi. And Naomi was Ruth's mother-in-law. Naomi lost her husband, and then she lost her sons. And then, being a widow and not having a man to take care of her, she and her two daughters-in-law decided to move back to Bethlehem, away from the country of Moab, where they had fled when there was a famine, and she had her husband and her sons. And so in moving back, she turns to send her daughters-in-law back to their own families in their own countries. One daughter-in-law went back. The other daughter-in-law clung to her. And she said, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to leave you. Stop asking me to leave you. Where you go, I'm going to go. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. And where you die, I'm going to die. Simple as that. I'm going to be with you. We are together. We're in this. Let me love you. And so, because she saw that she wouldn't be swayed, Naomi allowed Ruth, her daughter-in-law, to come with her, continue on the journey to Bethlehem. The thing that hit me, because I get in my feelings, was that when Naomi got back to town, she hadn't been there a long time, and all the women of the town was like, could this be Naomi? Look at her. Hey, girl, hey. And Naomi was like, don't call me Naomi, which I think meant pleasant. I had to look that up, but it means pleasant. She said, call me Mara, which actually means bitter, because the Lord has been quite bitter to me. He has, I'm paraphrasing. Go read your Bible. He's been quite bitter to me. He has caused me destruction. I left here full. My life was good. It was going how I wanted to go. And I'm returning here empty. And that part was very relatable to me. I don't know if you're like me, but if you're like me, I'm a high achieving, purpose-driven, goal-driven type of person. And when you're young, because I'm not that young anymore, but when I was younger, you have this idea that if you do A plus B, it will equal C, and C will bring joy and happiness, right? And so for me, leaving full meant that I did all the things that I felt like I was supposed to do, you know? And the part that is hurtful to me is that it still ends in disappointment. It doesn't turn out how I wanted it to turn out. There's certain things about life that didn't go quite the way that I worked so hard for them to go. And in a sense, that has made me bitter. And because I've already accomplished and achieved those things, it's made me hopeless. Because if I can't go in the past and fix it, and if there's no hope in the future to change it, I'm just kind of stuck spinning my wheels. So I could relate to what Naomi was feeling. I forgot I can't take these long pauses because I'm not editing. Ha ha ha, I can't think. All right, so because Ruth was Ruth and she was going to be her backbone, ride or die, daughter, family, closer than blood, closer than water, closer than a brother. She was there for her, right? She didn't stay where Naomi was. She was thinking, okay, we can't do anything about yesterday. We can't do anything about the future. What can we do today? And today, we need some food. So let me get up and go and glean behind the workers of some field. Maybe they'll let me do that. Maybe they'll be nice, have mercy on us, and then I can get some food for us just by going out to harvest with the harvesters that are harvesting right now. And so little did she know, the place where she went to harvest was a relative of Naomi and her husband Elimelech. And he actually turned out to be their kinsman redeemer, which if you understand like Jewish culture at the time, if a family fell on hard times, there were some family people like guardians or redeemers within the family that were given the task to redeem the family if they fell on hard times. And so you could go to these people. It's the auntie who has all the money. You know, it's the uncle that got all the money, because in that time frame, the reason why we're at the story, the aunties didn't have the money. The uncles had the money and the sons had the money, but she didn't have any sons. She didn't have any grandsons, and she doesn't have a husband. So they have to go to the males in their family that has the money to redeem the family that's going through hard times. All right. That was a detour. Okay, anyway, so she goes to the field. Am I going to tell this whole story? Let me stop and think for a minute. I can't get to my points without telling it. So just listen to this paraphrase version of my story of Ruth, and then go and read the book yourself. I think it's only 4 chapters. It's really short, but it's very good, and you'd like it. So Ruth goes and gleans. The table is shaking. Ruth goes and gleans in the field of Boaz. Boaz pops up. Everybody's like, hey, and he's like, hey, like, the Lord bless you and the Lord be with you. That's what they said to each other. Anyways, he looks, he's like, who that right there? And they're like, that's Ruth. She came back with Naomi and left her people and her mother and her father's house, and she's here with her. And she asked us if she can glean here, and we was like, yeah. And he was like, bet. Hey, daughter, stay here. Don't go anywhere. Pick as much as you want. If you get tired, go drink from the water that the men have gathered for the women. And don't go anywhere else. And then he told all the men, everybody there, don't touch her. Like, let her be. And she did that. She gleaned and she harvested and she took like all this food back home to Naomi. And then she told Naomi whose field it was. Naomi was like, for real? That's Boaz. He's our family member. Awesome. Like, listen, this is great. Here's what I got to tell you to do. And so she goes back. She keeps doing this. She keeps harvesting. And then one day after they're like, they're in a groove. She goes back. She harvests. The harvest gets all done. Naomi's in a better mood. Now she's got hope herself because her daughter-in-law has taken this step and made the situation a little bit better, right? So she's like, I got to find somewhere for you to go because you're too young to not be married and too young to not have a home. You need somebody to provide for you. Now, Boaz, he's our kinsman redeemer. So here's the tea on what you got to do to snag that man. And so basically she gives her the tea. You can read that for yourself. And so Boaz, he's all flattered. Like, you could have had somebody young, you could have had somebody richer or poorer or whatever, but you chose me. And so I'm gonna do this thing for you. I'm gonna do you a solid. But it's somebody else that has a larger claim to the land of your husband. And so I need to go holler at him first. And then I'll come back and let you know what's up. And so this has really taken an AAVE turn, and I love it. I hope you love it too, whatever. And so he goes to the city gates. He finds that relative. He's like, hey, Naomi's come back. She's trying to sell that property that she has of her husband's. And I was going to buy it, but you got a bigger claim to it than me. So if you want to buy it, you can buy it. And the relative's like, yeah, I'm going to buy it. It's like, okay, well, if you buy it, you do know that you got to take on Ruth, who is, was it Milan or Killian's? One of the sons' wives. Along with the property as your wife, so that his name and his property can be, or his name and his legacy can be kept alive. And the relative goes, well, no, I can't do that because I'm going to endanger my own property if I do that. How did the angle get off? Okay, so if I just tilt it and all of that, whatever, it's like that, whatever. Okay, so Boaz is like, all right, great. Well, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to redeem it. And he's like, you do it. Okay, cool. You do it. And so he hands him his sandal because that's how they close the deal. And this is going in a wild direction. Please stay with me. He closes the deal. He goes, he redeems the property. He takes her as his wife. They have a baby. That baby, they name Obed. All the women of the town are like, you are so blessed, Naomi. Like, you have Ruth, and Ruth is a better daughter to you than 7 sons could have been. And she's giving you this baby, and Ruth feels hope again. And not only does she feel hope again, but that hope that she feels is beyond what she can even understand, because the line through which her great-grandson has, the line through which her grandson has, she becomes the great-great-grandmother of David, because Obed is Jesse's dad and Jesse's David's dad. And then ultimately Jesus comes through this line. And so it's just an amazing story for me, because taking the one step looks like one thing. Ruth taking the step to go and get some food just for today turn into them her getting the food, them being full, like getting everything they need, being protected. So there's protection, there's provision. She becomes married to this man. So there's love and there's covering. And then she also gets to be a part of the greatest love story, which is a story of love, of how God so loved the world that he gave his only son. And Jesus came through that line. So to have that be a part of your line, to go from being bitter and hopeless and helpless, to go from being bitter and hopeless to just taking one step with the right people around you, mind you, because if she would have just carried on by herself, who's to say how her life would have gone? But she had encircled herself. She allowed the right person to be there who could hold up her arms and hold up hope for her while she was bitter. Take that step with her while she's feeling this way and just encourage her. And her whole life changed. And so I'm here and I'm telling that story because I don't know what YouTube is going to do for me. I don't want to start a YouTube channel. It's not something that I've ever really wanted to do. I'm an actor. I like acting. I don't want to be Alicia for the masses. I'm an introvert. I'm not a mass consumable person. Like, I just want to chill and be background. I want to help you push your story out. I want to help you reach your dreams on individual levels, right? And who's to say this is going to blow up? Who's to say that this is going to do anything differently than just whatever it's supposed to do? Like, it might just be for me to have this obedience and get over this idea of what it's going to be. And then we move on to the next assignment. But I don't know who's to say other than God. And I won't know what God has to say unless I take that step of obedience. And so this is my step of obedience. This is me doing the thing with the hope that is so hard for me to grasp right now, with the messy background and no mic and my camera phone, even when I have tens of thousands of dollars of equipment depreciated. Don't try to come break in my house and steal my equipment. I'm gonna probably edit that. Something's gonna be edited. Okay. I have all the gear, I have all the skill sets, I have all the things that I need to make it how I want it to be. But sometimes how you want it to be isn't God's will. Sometimes procrastinating to do things right leaves you with disobedience, which is what it has been. So this is my attempt to be obedient for maybe the 15th time. I've re-recorded this video so many times, and it doesn't have to be right. It just has to be out there. I reserve the right to get better. I reserve the right to change my mind. I reserve the right to pivot. I reserve the right to be wrong, to be bad, to be imperfect, because his strength is made perfect in my weakness. So anywhere where it's like, her, yeah, exactly. Because even if you can't see it, with God, all things are possible. With man, it's impossible. With God, all things are possible. And so my encouragement for you is, if you have to start a YouTube video, you've been putting it off, just start. And if there's something else that you need to do that you've been putting off for whatever reason, fear, perfection, feeling like a lack of resources, being overly concerned about being prepared for it, not making time for it, not feeling adequate for it, imposter syndrome, or just plain flat out disobedience. Like, I'm not going to do that. No, you probably want to do it. That's why I'm here. I trust the Lord. I fear the Lord. And I want to do what he tells me to do. But beyond that, well, it's not a lot beyond that. In addition to that, I guess that is also beyond that. In addition to that, I want to see what he does through this, because he can do so much more, exceedingly abundantly, above all I can ever hope and imagine. And he can do the same for you. Subscribe. Did I say that? That's so funny. If you like this video, leave a comment in the comments below and subscribe and look for more content from me. Oh my gosh, I'm blowing out. I hadn't even been looking at myself. This is crazy. Everything is crazy. Let's see. Whatever. Bye.